Happy, oh, 1 minute. 16. Happy 16th. Happy 16th Sunday in Ordinary Time. Thank you for joining me, Michelle. Let's get into the readings. I want to just zoom right into the gospel with Martha and Mary, because we have Mary who is calm and lovely and just hangs out with the Lord, and Martha who is a worried, anxious woman who's taking care of all of the things. She gets mad at Mary and tells Jesus her frustration. Jesus, of course, corrects her to say that Mary is actually doing what Mary needs to be doing, and Martha is the one who isn't doing the thing that God wants for her, which is to be peaceful and present to him. If you experience anxiety ever, then you know what Martha's going through. It's not always so turn-offable. And if you have ADHD and your brain is always full of different thoughts and things like that, then you know what Martha's going through. And if you have OCD and that one thing that you need to be in a certain order is not in a certain order, and you're just drawn back to this thing that is in reality of little consequence, but in actuality is of a great consequence, then you can relate to Martha. And the person who's harder to relate to is Mary. But what also is interesting about this gospel reading is that Martha is taking out her frustration on Mary. And I think also very relatable. Why is Mary the one who Martha feels the most angry at? First off, where's this anger coming from? And second off, why are you taking it out on your sister, girlfriend? I think for me, when I'm super intensely emotional, I often process it on people, and it just comes balling out. And the people I process it on are not strangers, and they're not just randos. They will be my closest circle, my significant other, my parents, my siblings, or my best friends. I remember one time in high school, I was directing a play, and I had cast all of the cool boys in my play, and my best friend was also there, and they were being so annoying, the boys, and just not following directions, making all these stupid jokes that I hated, and it was getting worse and worse and worse. My best friend said one little comment, smallest comment, and I slapped her in front of the whole group of people. She walked away, the whole place went quiet, everyone just left. I felt awful. Oh gosh, it was not a great feeling. Why did I slap my best friend when the reason I was getting frustrated was really these cool dudes? For sure, it's about safety. I knew that my best friend would forgive me. I've been vulnerable with her before, and so she's trustworthy to me. These intense feelings that I don't know how to process, don't even understand what they are, it could only come out on her. Because if I took my frustration out on one of those guys, there'd probably be worse repercussions to me. Now, is that true? I don't know. Probably not. The terror of rejection was enough to keep me. And with Martha and Mary, that's something I see in this. Martha has got all this frustration, and she takes it out on her sister, but she's not the only one in the house. There are other people. She knows her sister. She has an idea that women are the ones who are supposed to be doing this work, so she couldn't come up with a different visualization where a man should do the work. It's just culturally not the thing. I don't know if they're servants, that she shouldn't do the work. All of these things don't fit into her vision and her plan. There's safety in her vision and her plan, that she is then being threatened at everything that is pulling away from this direction. These things need to happen in this way so that everything will be okay, so that my reputation is good, that my guests are taken care of, that people know I love them, that da 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 da. All of these qualifications will make Martha feel safe. And when you're in an anxious state, it's not like you want to be anxious, you want to find calm. So you become more and more desperate trying to get there. It can often happen that you then throw up your junk on the people who you trust. What Jesus says is really beautiful, and then of course the witness of Mary who is there. I think Mary all the more is a very beautiful character, because surely Mary is aware of Martha's tension, knows Martha, and knows that Martha is probably getting this way because Jesus is here, but Mary has eyes only for one thing, which is the Lord, and she faithfully is present to him, isn't worried because of Martha's worried. Mary is not codependent. That is what is becoming obvious. We can really know this because since she's at the feet of Jesus, she's doing the right thing, but also she's being fed and strengthened to do that right thing because she's got this connection with the Lord and she's not letting it go. And the more she stays with him, the more she has that peace in her person. It would be really impressive if after Jesus said to Martha, the better road will not be taken from Mary, if Martha was like, oh, okay, I'll just do that too. And she just like walks away from everything and sits down from Jesus. Now it could happen because he is an authority and she recognizes that and she trusts him. So if the Lord gives her the love, this looking gaze, this moment to work through this stuff, she could have the strength. She has the choice, I'm sure. And I do think that's helpful when an authority says to us, you're doing this whole thing, but I'm giving you permission to not. When you're neurodivergent, though, that anxiety, that thing that feels like a motor in your body, it's not so easy to leave behind the mess in the kitchen, metaphorically, and go sit at the Lord's feet. We have to give ourselves permission to make the journey from that messy kitchen to the feet of the Lord. That looks so different for so many different people. A good thing is to put in 5 minutes and to be so generous and kind to yourself. It's a Herculean effort, especially in the midst of your brain in the anxiety or the driving or whatever it is, with pressure on you, behind you. You can't, it's not just keys to a car that you turn off. I have this visualization often of a whole storm, hurricane going on me, and I'm just clutching onto this rock, and usually actually I'm physically holding a pillow or something. That's just helpful for me, and I just take some deep breaths, and I have a breathing exercise that's very difficult for me, but is simple in practice, where I take a deep breath, 1, and then I do 1, 2, 1, and then 1, 2, 3, 2, 1, and I give myself a number between 1 and 10 and just say, okay, I'm gonna get to 5 or 3 or 10, or I will get to 3 and then check in and see if I can do another one or whatever. In this way, I have started to build shelves of peace. I give myself very strict permission to say, this is good. This is the way I can be at the Lord's feet today. It's enough. Though I feel like I'm disappointing someone because I haven't done the cleaning that I feel I have to do, or I have a report to do at work, or whatever, I genuinely believe that the Lord never puts work above you. You are not as good as your productivity. You are good because you are good, period. And you are more important than the work you do. So giving yourself permission to take the time in those anxious states of mind, or those very strongly motivated, I'll say, times, a real grace from God. Sometimes that's the first step, just to say, everything feels like it's falling apart. I don't know if this will ever end, but I am gonna do 3 deep breaths. You might have your own method. Sometimes it's helpful to just put on, on Spotify or YouTube, look for a breathing meditation and let it carry you through. Keep it simple, give yourself permission, and know that a little can be enough. It doesn't have to be a full day of you got it right. It can be 5 minutes. It counts and it will stay in your soul. You're so good. I'm gonna leave you with that. Thank you for coming and listening to me speak on the Sunday readings. Thank you for letting me be part of your community. Thank you for being part of my community. It is always a joy and pleasure to share this road with you and to remind each other and to support one another through this life. Have a good week and a happy Sunday. Bye.